I'm Ursula Oppens, and we're going to hear the two diversions for piano written by Elliott Carter, performed by Ice Wang. In 1961, in Aspen, the Juilliard String Quartet both performed and did a lecture demonstration on the second string quartet. And it just hit me like, it was a real, it was an event, and I never went back from that. That was the year between high school and college. The year after college, I went to Marlborough. They had gotten a grant to play American music. And then they found out that Elliott Carter was coming to visit. And they had to do something. So they asked all the good pianists whether they could learn the quartet for flute, oboe, cello, and harpsichord. Then I went up and said, could I try? And since everyone else had said no, they let me try. And apparently the performance went well enough. Elliott was pleased. I met him and Helen at the time. And a few years later, they had the same problem at Tanglewood with the double concerto for piano and harpsichord. And he recommended that the good pianist said no. And so he recommended me, and then I practiced the harpsichord, and then I never stopped playing his music. Bravo, that was really wonderful. These pieces are really games. The first one has an ostinato going at the speed of 40 to the minute. And sometimes when it goes from one section to another, this ostinato divides itself into 4 parts or 2 parts, and once even into 3 parts. Around it, basically, there are 2 voices which you played beautifully. One which is kind of staccato, a little bit like bum, 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 and the other which is very lyrical and operatic. These 2 characters, again, the staccato and the legato, but they switch registers all the time, and you have to get back there. And at the same time that this is happening, the ostinato has to be very even. Actually, what I do in practicing, and it sounds like you've done the same, is I sometimes put the metronome on the ostinato. Yeah, right. And then sometimes do the metronome as the beat. Very often in Carter's music, actually, the beat itself, the metronome, has not much to do with the music. It's just a way of being able to write different things in 1 meter. Yeah. Start wherever you like. Yeah, and this is, I think, even though it's not forte, it is the ba-da-bum-ba, quite staccato and lively. And then you have the legato down there. They've changed places. I often think of his music as being like a dinner party where there are a few conversations going on at once. I mean, you wouldn't say this voice doesn't belong, because the whole point is they all belong, but they're different. Elliott spoke several times of how influenced he was when his father took him to France after the First World War, and he saw all the destruction. And he said that was a huge influence on how he saw the world. The idea that well, people can be different and together, and yet keep their differences.
I don't think we can end before we mention Helen Carter.
Helen was extremely important to me. And, she helped me learn to dress properly and things like that. In my own life, in my personhood, in who I am, she was about as important to me as Elliott. She was a force that was so strong that we could be free. I love practicing his music. It's really is what makes me the happiest. So there you have it.